Welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about time management. As teachers, we make sure that our lesson plans are perfect. We make sure that every minute of our students' days are accounted for and filled with meaningful, purposeful activities. But most of us struggle with finding our own time management, of making our own time at the building productive so that we don't come home with this enormous teacher bag filled with a mountain of papers to be graded, lesson plans to be written, and just stuff in general that we have to do. So what I have been working on the last few days is a schedule for myself. I went through and I wrote down basically what I did in the course of my day and the times that were my times to get things done, times that were the student times that I was actively involved with them. I recorded my lunch time and my prep time, and then I added up my minutes in my day. And I wanted to figure out, okay, where could I get more time at, or what was a small change that I could make so that I could get a little bit more time in my day. Also, I looked at my day and tried to figure out, am I really being the most effective? Have I prioritized my activities and my tasks at hand in a way that gets the maximum use for my time in the classroom? And what I found out was that I was not using my prep time, my personal time wisely at all. I was squandering large amounts of time. And I also noticed mistakes I was making throughout the course of my day. And I've been doing a lot of reading. There's a new magazine by Time that's out right now called Mindfulness. And I was reading some of the articles in that magazine. I'm also listening to right now The Power of Vulnerability by Bremi. Oh, I can't think of her last name. I can't think of her last name. But I'll link everything in the description box below. And also just some other things that I've been looking at as far as time management and how to prioritize tasks accordingly. And I like to think that I'm a very organized person. I'm working hard, but I'm also working from the moment I wake up in the morning, which is 4:45, until I pretty much go to bed at night. At least that's what I was doing. And I've come to the conclusion that I just can't do that anymore. I cannot work 16-hour days. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting a little older in life or just because I've had it. But regardless, I had to make better use of my time. And so one of the first things I did was identify what I call time suckers. Things that just, without even meaning for them to do so, they just suck up and absorb all of your time. You think you've only been doing this for a couple of minutes, and you look up at the clock and you're like, oh my God, it's time to go get the kids. Where did my time go? So a few changes I've made in the course of my day. My cell phone does not come out of my purse anymore. It just stays in there. If the phone is out of sight, the phone is out of my mind. I don't even think about it. Today it was like 2 p.m. before I even realized I never even looked at my phone today. I will say I do have an Apple Watch. And with my Apple Watch, I have the times programmed in so my watch will vibrate when it's time to do different activities. Also with my Apple Watch, if I get an important text message from my husband, or if my phone is ringing and God forbid it's my father and there's an emergency and I need to get to the hospital, I will see those alerts on my watch. So with the phone in my purse, it's out of sight, out of mind, but I'm still able to be reached in the event of an emergency. But still, the phone is in my purse. It doesn't come out, and it completely removes the temptation to stop for just a moment and start searching things on your phone, because our phones are enormous time gobblers, and we don't even realize how much time we're losing a day because of those phones. The second thing I have changed is when I check my emails. I used to walk into my classroom in the morning, drop my purse, drop my bag, take my coat off, hang it over the chair, and turn on my classroom computer immediately. Then I would sit down, to, enter my password, log on, and go straight into my school emails to see what was up. But the thing with emails is, because I get there so early, I usually have to check my emails again just before school starts, because over that course of time, more people have arrived at work, more people have started sending out information that you need to see. So in essence, by checking my email the moment I walked in, I ended up having to check my emails twice in the morning, because I would have to check it again just before school starts. I now don't even turn my computer on. Yesterday and today, it worked out perfectly. I came into my room, I sat down, I started working on things that were a top priority. My computer was not turned on until about 10 minutes before I had to go pick up the students. And in that 10-minute window, I had all the time I needed to read my emails, jot down in my planner any, time-sensitive information that needed to be taken note of, and then shut it down. Another thing I've done is changed when I leave. My children were young for a long time. Because there's such a large age gap between AJ and Casey, I was the mom of small children for like 13 years. But now my boys are finally a little older and more independent. So gone are the days when I really had to, get the kids out of my classroom, use the bathroom, grab my bags, and rush to my car because I needed to get home in time to meet the bus, or I needed to get home in time to grab this one from school, or I needed to get home in time because this one was staying, 10 minutes after school and wasn't there to pick up the other one. I mean, my boys can now get themselves home. I am not really needed for that job anymore. So I don't have to leave school 5 minutes after my students are dismissed anymore. I really can stay a little late. Now, I don't want to stay too late because I do have a 35-minute commute. And if I leave at a certain time, my commute will stay 35 minutes. If I wait too long, I miss that window of opportunity, and suddenly my drive home becomes 45 minutes to an hour. I really don't want to, spend an hour a day coming home in rush hour traffic. So I do have to leave the school at a certain time just to kind of beat the rush hour. So I'm going to turn the camera around and take you through two schedules. My schedule that I used to have and the schedule I'm following now, so that you can see how I was able to reorganize my day so that I am way more productive at work, yet I don't feel rushed. And part of the reason I don't feel rushed is because I don't feel scatterbrained. I now can honestly say that when I walk in, I have a game plan for the morning, I have a game plan for my preps, and I even have an end of day routine that I'm going to share with you guys. So I'm going to turn the camera on and we'll get to it. Here you see my old routine. I arrive at the building at about 6:50 in the morning, and from 6:50 until 7:55, this is my time to do whatever I need to do. And this is an hour and 5 minutes that I have every single morning before school starts. Then we have the kids arrive, we have breakfast and attendance, daily 5, math. From 11:40 to 12:15 is my lunch hour. The kids come back, we have science or social studies, language arts. My prep period is from 1:37 to 2:17. I have a 40-minute prep. And the thing to know about my prep, we have art on a cart in my building, and also the literacy block teacher is a push-in teacher. These two prep teachers do not have rooms of their own, so they must come in. And until recently, I would stay in the classroom and try to keep working while these teachers were in the room doing their thing. And the problem with that is you're not off duty. When you're in the classroom with your children during your prep time, if the children run into a problem, they're not going to the prep teacher to ask for help. They're still coming to me. So these two 40-minute blocks that are technically my time were really being lost, because I found that when I was working in the classroom, I even tried putting earbuds in my ears so that I could kind of block out the class. I was still working on discipline. I would still monitor the room. I was still answering kids' questions, and I really wasn't getting anything done during these two 40-minute prep periods. But then these three preps I do have where I am alone in my room, and I can get a lot of work done during these times. Finally, at the end of the day, we have our read aloud in circles and dismissal, and then I'll be honest, like I said, the children would be dismissed at 2:59, and pretty much by 3:05 I was gone. I would use the bathroom, grab my purse, grab my teacher bag, grab my lunch bag, and start walking for my car. And then in the morning here, the first thing I used to do was turn on my emails. The second thing I would do would be to pull work for the day. Then I would get my morning message up on the board. I would get my learning targets listed on the board. I would run to the copy machine to make copies if I needed copies. And then if I had any time left, I would grade a few papers. One thing you will not see anywhere on here are the words write lesson plans. I basically did not do that at school. Writing lesson plans was something I did 100% at home. My new schedule. The children's work has stayed the same. What has changed is my time. Now when I come in at 6:50 to 7:55, the first thing I do is I review my pensive. And that is basically my teacher book for Daily 5. It's full of my students' anecdotal notes, their levels, their records. This way I can take a moment to see which students do I need to see that day and set up meetings for, what students need to be pulled in small groups. So that's my first task of the day. And if you look over here, that wasn't even on here. Basically, I was trying to fit that in during breakfast time before Daily 5 started. The second thing I do is grade papers. If there was any papers that didn't get graded from the day before or were collected the day before, now is my time to get that little stack of papers graded and get those entered. Next, work on lesson plans. That doesn't really happen so much Monday and Tuesday, but by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you start to see what you accomplished in the course of the week and what lessons did not get accomplished and will be bumped to the next week. And then so you can bump those and start filling in the holes. So by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I can start using this time to work on lesson plans for the next week. My lunchtime is 35 minutes, and I did not schedule in work for my lunchtime. Are there going to be days where maybe I have a working lunch? Sure. But I will be honest, I do not want to be a slave to my day. My lunchtime, I enjoy the company of my coworkers, and so I've left this as an open time for me. My prep period. From now on, my art block and my literacy block, these are my times to leave my classroom, go to the copy machine, make any copies that need to be made, or make the individual copies that need to be sent to the PRC, where they'll run off big stacks of copies for me. This is my time to run errands Or if I still need to grade papers, I can go sit in the nice, quiet teacher's lounge and grade papers during these 2 times when I can't be in my room with a nice, quiet environment to be effective. Whereas the other 3 prep periods I have here, it says work in the room. So I can do any of these things during this time, or if this is the time where I do need to do cutting or gluing or laminating to get things ready for next day's lesson. Another thing that changed is my end of day. Gone is me rushing out the door right away. I've now budgeted in from 3 o'clock to 3:15 end of day routines. And basically my end of day routines are what used to be my old morning routines, which is to get my learning targets written on the board for the next day, to write my morning message on the board for the next day, and to prep my desk for tomorrow's lesson. So I'll pull all the work at this time instead of doing it here. By moving these few tasks to the end of the day, and because I'm going to want to go home, I'm not going to dilly-dally with these tasks. I'm going to knock them out pretty quick. Whereas in the morning, because I have a larger block of time, maybe I was taking my time and not being as effective. But by moving these down here at the end of the day, it frees up this morning where I now have, over an hour a day to grade papers, work on lesson plans, prepare my reading lessons for my individual meetings. And then I did put on here, check email 10 minutes before the start of the day. So this way, if there's any messages coming from the principal or the secretary or the social worker, I am informed and I know what's going on. And then, of course, all of this relies heavily on my Erin Condren Life Planner, because now this one planner has become my life and my school planner. Suddenly, sub-plans, copies, progress reports, Math Institute, these things are now in my life planner, where before they would have just been in my teacher planner. So I'm still using a planner. I'm just not using the Erin Condren Teacher Planner anymore. I am using my Erin Condren Life Planner exclusively for everything. I really hope you find this information valuable. I really hope that with just seeing these few tweaks and modifications that I've done to my days and the cumulative effect over the course of a week, I hope this information helps you guys a lot, because part of my goal, I'm under no delusion that I will become a 40-hour-a-week teacher. I do not see that happening, ever. But at the same time, I don't want to be working on school things until 5 minutes before I go to bed at night. I turn off the laptop from working on school stuff, brush my teeth, and go to bed. I desperately, desperately, desperately need to find more time to be with my family and to just enjoy my life. I don't want to spend, all day Saturday working on school things and all day Sunday cutting out stuff and doing whatever. I'm working really hard to get things set up in a way where I can work smarter and work a heck of a lot less harder. So I hope this helps you. I really, really do. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me in the future, click the subscribe button. And if you have time-saving comments that you want to list below, please feel free to share them with me and my followers, because any suggestions, any offerings of help are definitely welcome here. And with that, I'll talk to you later.